The President of Ecuador sends a message to Mexico. Every convicted criminal should serve their sentence in jail, no matter the cost. Just a few moments ago, the President of Ecuador, Daniel Noboa, he defended the assault on the Mexican embassy and the capture of the former Vice President, Jorge Glass. He has said justice is not negotiable. Let's remember that Jorge Glass was pursued by the Ecuadorian authorities for various crimes such as, but Jorge Glass was granted political asylum by the government of Mexico. I thought he was sheltered in the Mexican embassy, and the intention was to take him directly to Mexico to give him asylum. The President of Ecuador did not like this at all, and he was already in conflict with the President of Mexico. Mexico accused him of having won the election thanks to the death of a presidential candidate, and it is because the President of Mexico assured that Daniel Noguera was favored in this case. The President of Ecuador did not like that at all, and maybe that was the last straw for his country's forces to enter the Mexican embassy and generate an international conflict, according to experts. An embassy of a country must be respected, and for some, a country's embassy is the territory of that country, meaning an embassy of Mexico is Mexican territory. But what did the President of Ecuador say to Mexico? Well, in a statement, he said he had to make exceptional decisions to protect national security, and then he assured that he will not allow any to provide immunity to criminals, offenders, and so on, corrupt and drug traffickers. In the case of Jorge Glass, he was the Vice President of Ecuador from 2013 to 2017 and had been sentenced for corruption. But then they had freed him. After that, new investigations against him arrived, and it was. So, on December 17th, he entered the Mexican embassy and stayed there until a few days ago when he was finally granted political asylum. And the idea was that it would reach Mexico. Then, the Ecuadorian armed forces entered the Mexican embassy and arrested him. Mexico at that time broke off relations with Ecuador, and all the countries that have spoken about the issue have condemned what Ecuador did, making it very clear that an embassy is not something to be taken lightly. Yes. It could set a precedent for truly terrible things. But there he is, President Daniel not. It was said that Jorge Glass is a convicted criminal and is involved in very serious crimes. The country could not allow it. Pelik, which has happened before, and the criminals mocking the Ecuadorian people again. Daniel Noboa's message ended with a brutal and scathing statement. To the bodily people of Mexico, I want to express that I will always be ready to resolve indifferences, but that justice is not negotiable. There are several very clear points to be made about this. Jorge Glass, from Rafael Correa's government. Rafael Correa is currently in Belgium, where he has political asylum. In Ecuador, Rafael Correa is considered a criminal due to Ecuador's laws. But according to Rafael Correa, all this is a political persecution. Regarding the specific case of Jorge Glass, something very similar. According to the current Ecuadorian authorities, he is a criminal. But according to him, he is a political persecutee. What do the experts say? Well, regardless of whether Jorge Glass is a criminal or not, an embassy is off limits. That said, the devil himself could be in the embassy and still. He can't just walk into an embassy. Besides, it's true that a person might be a criminal in some country, but when another country grants asylum, it's because that person isn't a criminal to them. And lastly, for years, Mexico has provided asylum to a large number of people, including many Ecuadorians who have had to flee their government. Maybe Jorge Glass escaped your lot, but the Ecuadorian government must have invaded the Mexican embassy. And what a big part of this invasion. It's believed President Daniel Noboa did it for 3 reasons. Firstly, because of President Lopez Obrador's accusation of taking advantage of the death of a presidential candidate. Secondly, that everyone knew about it. It's really not very popular and needed the people's support. Ecuador supports it, and the people of Ecuador do agree with the arrest of Jorge Glass. And thirdly, what actions are being taken? The president needs more backings to pass certain projects. That's why it was necessary. It will show that justice was indeed served. But here comes the experts' question. The price Daniel Noboa paid could be too high for Ecuador for invading the Mexican embassy. I might end up paying a very high price for it, and not so much because of Mexico, much as for all the countries that will turn their back on him because, I repeat, it is very dangerous for embassies to be taken. That is why it had never been done the way Daniel Noboa did it before. Yes, so finally, Julian Assange was granted asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy. The United Kingdom and the United States, the United Kingdom was looking for him, and for years, and he was untouchable until he lost Ecuador's support because a new government came in and finally they got him. But this makes you realize, even Julian Assange, a man wanted by the US for revealing ultra-secret information that truly got the US in trouble. Yet it did not affect the United States. I was at an embassy of another country, so I ask you, do you really think it was worth it? What Daniel Noboa did and why he really did it. He just sent a message to Mexico and it is strong. He has said the following and I fuse. To the brotherly people of Mexico, I want to express that I will always be willing to resolve any difference. But at the J, justice is not negotiable. Now tell me, what do you think?